Alright, so it looks like the stream is coming up now. Decided to start just a couple minutes early, uh, just so I could allow people to come in before I start speaking, and also to make sure that it's working. I just want to make sure that the stream is working. It looks like it is, so that's good. And so I'll wait a little bit to make sure that everything sounds correct. Let me just check the sound here. And so I'll wait a little bit. Okay, good. It looks like the sound is working just fine. And so I'm going to wait a couple minutes. So those of you that are watching the stream, you can fast forward a little bit uh, until things start up. So I'm going to wait another minute or so. I'm trying to start here at 3:45. It's 3:44 right now, so just be patient. Good afternoon to those that are just showing up. Good to see a few of you already showing up already. I'm a little bit nervous today, so um, I feel since I'm a performer, I'm a piano performer, musician, I play concerts. Uh, I feel very similar to how I before I play in a concert. Like the adrenaline's going, the sweat, and because I'm just about to make a pretty big trade in front of a bunch of people. So before I get into that, I still have about 15 minutes before I get started. Well, with that taking that trade, the next 15 minutes I'm going to talk about the profits that I had today on my personal and on Robert's account. Um, and then I'll get into the reasons behind taking this NZD US dollar trade right before uh, the New Zealand dollar cash rate. So the New Zealand cash rate, which is basically the interest rate. So let's get started. All right, so hopefully everybody can hear me okay. Yes, good to see you, Minimal. Thanks for joining me today. So a lot of you are just showing up now. I'm just going to give you a rundown on what's going on with my account, the profits that were just made today in the last 24 hours, and also a rundown of the New Zealand trade, just in case you want to join me on taking that trade as well, and the reasonings behind taking it. All right, so this is what Robert's account looks like right now. So it was updated just 7 minutes ago, and you can see that I've actually had some really nice profit today. 0.87% profit, so $1,000 on his account just today. And those trades were all the expert advisor, so completely the expert advisor. I didn't take any manual trades today on Robert's account. So just a really good day and a nice recovery, start of a recovery on his account this for this month. I still have a few days left, so just about 3 days left of trading. And so I'm hoping to maybe, if I'm lucky, get this down to about 5% by the end of the month, and that will look much better on the account. So right now, currently, I'm down from my high water mark. I'm down $7,438. All right, so on my personal account, my personal account also did very well today, and this I did profit $535 on this account. And this again was all expert advisor trades except for one, and that trade was right here. So that was just a $24 trade. It was one lot. And what happened, and I'll go into that real fast before I get into the New Zealand dollar. Let's see if I can find it. I have so many charts open. Okay, here it is. So this trade was very short, and I took it up here at the top. There was a resistance up here, and I think I took it on an inside candle. It was actually not an inside candle. I saw that price was running up, and after this candle, price action here, it started getting a bit shaky up here, and I started noticing candles, inside candle here for one, reversal candle here, nice wick on this candle showing that there was a push up and a pullback down within that 5-minute candle, showing that there is some kind of resistance up at this top area up here, even on the 5-minute chart. So I waited to see. Then I got this candle again, and that's when I actually pulled the trigger and went in on the trade. And it kind of bounced around a little bit. I was looking for a small take profit, about 10 pips. Bounced up again, more reversal candles at the top, engulfing candle here, and more wicks, and then eventually it shot down. So why did I close out early? Well, I closed out early because I it was taking too long. It was still bouncing too much around this area up here, and so I closed out slightly early. But unfortunately, it moved down quite a bit right after that, so it would have hit my profit soon after. But the thing is that I'm being more cautious here. I want to be cautious with my trades. If things are taking too long, I'm just going to close it out if I get a chance at break even. All right, so this is the trades. I had a nice basket here on the pound Canadian dollar, and let me show you that what it looks like on the 30-minute time frame. All right, so the original trade was taken here, inside candle, and so I trade 1, 2, and 3, and 4. And so this was a good place. I thought this was a good place to take a position because there was a whole number down there at one or a round number at 1.66, and I was expecting this to push up, and obviously it didn't. So it kind of lingered a little bit, went back down, entered 20 pips later, another 20 pips, another 20 pips, and then I finally got that pullback later on. It was right around the half number at 1.655. There was also an inside candle down at the bottom there. I was on trades on the Australian dollar CAD, and this is going to those that are still trading my system, what I was talking to you about before, where I will close out all trades in profit on all pairs at the same time. So these trades that were on the Australian dollar Canadian dollar uh, pair were closed out in loss. This was closed out in an overall loss, but because of the profit that was given to me on the pound Canadian dollar and all these trades were in profit, the I hit a total profit amount of $200 on this basket on the pound CAD and the Australian CAD altogether. All right, so hopefully that makes sense. All right, so we got about 10 minutes left. So hopefully you guys don't get bored watching me talk for the next 10 minutes. But I'm gonna get into the reasons for getting in on the New Zealand dollar USD, so the NZD USD. Now, typically I don't trade this pair, but I've been ever since Saturday. A news article came out. Let's see if I can actually find it. Here it is. A news article came out, and I showed this in my prior uh, video. New Zealand's largest bank says construction, migration, tourism may have all peaked. So I was like, oh, this kind of interested me with this article, and so I read further and found out that the economy in New Zealand is still struggling. The interest rate has been the same, a record low at 1.75% since March of this year, and it's still projected to stay the same at 1.75%. It's possible that it could uh, be raised, but it's also possible that it could be lowered. Now, as you guys know, it's very intense and very risky trading these kinds of events. And so after I saw this article, I decided to dig a little deeper, and I thought to myself, there might be an opportunity here with the cash rate coming out, and the cash rate that I'm talking to you about is right here. So this is the cash rate. It's at 4 p.m. official cash rate, and so seeing these kind of news articles piqued my interest, and so I did a little bit more digging to see what other information out there is in New Zealand. How is the actual economy? How is the health of it? And I hear that the uh, the housing market is kind of a mess, um, and other economic issues are in forecast. So the projections for the 1.75% interest rate is it's still expected to stay the same. There is a possibility with how the market is currently looking for New Zealand that they could lower it a surprise lower. I think they're going to try to hold as long as possible at the 1.75 interest rate. But if they're going to hold at that level, why am I trading this? Because if they're going to hold, usually that shows signs that uh, could be positive for the New Zealand dollar. Usually, if they raise interest rates, do the in New Zealand, the New Zealand dollar will increase in value. It means that the economy is doing better, and that's why they raise the rate. If they lower the rate, that means that the economy is not doing as well, and the New Zealand dollar will typically fall and fall a lot. Um, so no, Zanati, I will not be martingaling today, and I'll get into that in a second. Um, so I did some research and saw, and to maybe to avoid all the nitty-gritty details, because you know how. Sorry, my headset turns off when no sound is coming through it after 15 minutes, so you might see me doing that again. Uh, so I'll get into the trade sizes, when I'm going to be entering, all that kind of stuff. Actually, I should probably do that right now because it's only 5 minutes away. All right, so my projection is that the New Zealand dollar will lose value on the interest rate decision today. Now, the statement that's coming out is the rate statement. I'm going to try to see if I can get a hold of that soon after it comes out. Um, but I'm going to be looking at the interest rate decision the most. If it raises to 2.0, I'm probably going to cut out very quickly. I'm not going to hold on to that, and it's probably going to spike really fast. It will probably go, if I were to guess, maybe 100 or 200 pips in a matter of seconds. So it's going to be very difficult, and I have to be very careful with how that's approached. The interest rate is not expected to increase until at least sometime in 2018. So I feel like I have a good chance of having my projection be met today. And I'm looking at a smaller trade on my account today at one lot. So I'm going to actually get that set up now. I was going to do two lots. I'm going to do one lot now. And I may add another lot if it bounces up. So what I'm expecting to happen is once the interest rate is released, and if it stays at 1.75%, then I'm expecting that it will push up initially, and will push up probably anywhere from 25 to 50 pips in a matter of seconds. And then this is what I'm hoping that will happen, is that it will top out, and it will top out under the 73 level, so that's 1.73, and then shoot back down. Now, I don't know how fast it will shoot. I think that the initial reaction may be quick to the upside, 25 to 50 pips, and then it will probably be a slower push down over the next 24 hours. And I do feel like this level down here at 72 will be broken, and then will continue back down. So it's not just the economy that is still struggling in New Zealand. It's also the strength of the U.S. dollar. So the U.S. dollar is another reason why I'm taking this trade, because of the projections with the USD are very positive right now, and so I'm going to be playing off of that. Uh, and so I feel like this pair, the NZD US dollar, is the best choice right now over the NZD CHF and the NZD CAD, NZD Japanese yen, especially since the Canadian dollar just had a huge crash. I think when it came to oil prices, I haven't even done the research on that. It's because I've been looking mostly at the New Zealand dollar and the USD to see how things were panning out with that. I have not looked at what caused the Canadian dollar to push down so abruptly. So I'll do that a little bit later on, maybe with a video tomorrow or something like that. All right, so we're 3 minutes away. So what I'm doing is I'm going to wait for about a minute before, make sure that the spread is fine, maybe 2 minutes before, and I'm going to start entering my trades, or I'm going to be entering one lot trade on my personal account, and I'm going to be entering a 5 lot trade on Robert's account. As you can see, that's $120,000. And I'll be expecting a push up and then a push down. Now, that's just a projection. It could easily push down instantly, or it could push up and continue up. And so the idea is to have a stop loss of about a mental stop loss anywhere from 50 to maybe 100 pips max. And it depends on how much it rides up in the first few seconds. And then I will also have a profit projection of around 50 to 100 pips, and that is based on the volatility, the volume, how fast the price is moving. And if it moves, I may even trail stop it if the volatility slows down after a couple hours. So that's the plan right now. Looks like I have some comments coming in. Weird Trump is talking at the exact same time. Trump has just said he would slash tax rates. That's going to be positive USD probably, but I don't know if it's going to have any kind of effect. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and enter the trades now. Okay, just making sure that I'm not making any mistakes right now. So everything is in place, and we got about 2 minutes. All right, so I'm going to be watching Robert's account first because obviously there's a bit more money involved here. But let's see if I can. But I'll be pretty quick to close out the positions, and you guys will be able to watch that if I close them out quickly. If there's a problem with how the projection it goes with the interest rate. Now I need to pull up uh, the calendar FX Street because they are typically a lot faster when it comes to news. Okay, so I got about a minute left. But I'll be able to tell probably with the just the initial with the initial spike. But if it spikes up quickly, okay, so it looks like we're already starting. We've got about the spread's already increasing. Got about a couple of seconds left. Let's see what happens. Okay, so it's pushing down. All right, so it looks like the interest rate. Let's just check and see. Looks like okay, so they kept it the same. Interest rate's the same. So initial push was down. We'll see if it bounces up a little bit. So it only moved down about 12 pips. It could shoot up anywhere from 25 to 30 to 50 pips, and I will probably be looking for a stop loss at around 50. And I'll just have to wait and see. So the people are probably reading the statement right now, which I'm going to try to see if I can do myself. And I don't. It's not refreshing yet. Guys, you're talking about mental stops, and the thing is that yeah, stop losses are fine. Mental stops are one thing, but when it comes to an event like this, you're going to have slippage anyway on a stop loss, uh, or even take profit as well. So that's why I'm not doing that right now. So we're not getting a lot of movement. So this could be a no-show, and it depends on if people haven't read that policy statement yet. You can see that I'm looking at the policy statements from May 11th, August 10th, and February 9th, and it doesn't look like they've released the September one yet, and so I'm just gonna have to wait and see. All right, so not much movement. All right, let's see how the Euro US dollar's doing. I thought I had a chart up somewhere. Okay, so the USD is going slightly down. Looks like it might have peaked out. Looks like it could eventually push back down there. So that's good. If that increases, if the USD is going up, then we'll maybe get a little love from the USD to help with the trade on the NZD CAD. Sorry, NZD USD. Let's see. So that's my personal account. Let's go to the 5-minute chart, see how things are looking on that. All right. So guys, not much action, and that can be expected for something like this. It could be a slow bleed down. It could be a slow bleed up. The policy statement may not have come out yet. I'm still waiting to see because I believe that that's what people are looking for is the language and the policy statement. And typically those are released pretty quickly. But I'm not really sure why I can't currently get a hold of that. It looks like this website is also not really refreshing either. It could be because people are trying to get the same info as me. All right. So I know there's quite a few of you guys in here today, and so what's the plan from here on? Since there's been it's been completely quiet. Uh, well, I don't have much more to talk about at this point. At this point in time, I think I probably will put on a stop loss because there's not much volatility. I'm probably going to leave it currently at around the whole number, just above the whole number there, and just in case, and my take profit is going to be an initial take profit of 100. Now I'm going to potentially change that over time, depending on how much this moves. So if this moves down, if it trickles down, and I hit about 50 pips profit, I'll probably sorry, there goes my mic again. If it goes down 50 pips, I'll put on a trailing stop, and if it shoots back up, then I'll just close out at break even. If it continues down, then I will probably close it at about 100 pips, which would be about a $5,000 profit on this account, and go from there. Uh, I do think that this will go in my favor. Whether it's quickly or over time, it looks like maybe some people may be getting a hold of the. Oh shoot! I'm gonna enter again because I had a mess up. And the mess up here is I'm gonna tell you guys about it in just a second. And it's on both of my accounts. Shoot. So these I have a take profit EA on my account, and it was already set. So I already locked in some profit, but unfortunately I'm going to lose out a little bit on that position. That's really unfortunate that I missed out on about 10 pips there. So yes, so because that happened fast. So I have a VPS, and a VPS is showing is basically making sure that all my accounts are running in the background and my expert advisor is running. And I have a close all expert advisor. So basically, when a certain profit amount is hit, so $305 is hit, then all trades will close out automatically. That was a mess up on my behalf. I actually had this as positive or as true, and so that's why the trade closed out. So I've re-entered. I'm still expecting a fall on it. It didn't close out on my standard account yet, luckily. Uh, my standard account was set to $200. I've already closed that out. It looks like we're finally getting some movement on the way down. But yeah, guys, it looks like it's moving. So this is good. Well, the take profit and stop loss closed out. So I'm going to go back up to my initial stop loss, which looks like it's now a little bit larger than, well, that's 200 pips. I wanted to do it at the whole number, right around 73, and take profit again of about 100 pips. Now it's really unfortunate that that happened. You know, these are the kind of things that you risk on taking these trades. And I set up this trade 30 minutes to make sure that everything was right 30 minutes before, but I kind of just I missed that. It's not a bad thing. I closed out profit already, so it was $395 on the account. And unfortunately, I entered right after again to make sure that I didn't miss out on more uh, more price movement, and I knew exactly why it closed out when it did. So luckily, my personal account is still looking good. Let's see if this trend will continue down, and I'm going to move the stop over to the same price as my other account, Robert's account, about 73. And I'm going to explain to you why I'm moving my stop loss to 73 in a second. All right, so stop loss is set to 73 because I feel like this is a good level. It's a good support and resistance level up here, and I'd really doubt this would push up that high and before it would continue to fall back down. So what's causing the movement right now? It looks like a little bit of USD action maybe that's happening. At least on the euro, US dollar. Let's see on the pound. Yeah, it looks like maybe a little bit of USD action that's helping us here, uh, and it looks like maybe a little bit of the New Zealand dollar too. Uh, so I expect this to fall more. I don't think it's going to be fast, as you can see, but it looks like I so far was right on my projection. That could change. Uh, I think that we'll know for sure in the next couple hours, and to see if this ends up pulling back up, and we get like a pin candle or hammer or something like that. That's always possible. And I'm going to go down to the 5-minute chart to see what the action is looking like on the 5-minute chart. So we're getting a little bit of a pullback here already in the wick, but the volume is so low, and it could be low because we're at the 4 o'clock hour right now, 4 p.m. Right after, well, 9 minutes after 4 p.m. And that could be why we're getting a little bit of low volume right now, is because we're close to the end of the day. So end of the day is at 5 p.m. for me, Eastern Standard Time, and usually spreads get really high at that point, and and it's usually a lot harder to trade. And it will sometimes slow down a lot, even at 4 p.m. And spreads will even increase even increase during that time too. So I won't be entering any more trades until after the spreads slow down a little bit. So you guys might be wondering, should I be concerned about this action on the 5-minute chart? No, not really. The initial reaction here is fine. There could be some push back up. I don't know. We're just gonna have to wait and see. But I think that this video is gonna probably get real boring soon because there's not a lot of action going on. So what you guys are gonna have to do is probably tune in. Tomorrow I'll give an update. It's on Thursday, and to see how this trade's doing. I may even give an update on forexfactory.com if you guys want to see how that's going on forexfactory.com. But let's open it to any questions. If anybody has any questions, I'm going to see what's going on here. Could possibly calm down until the speech is over. That's terrifying. MT4 order sound. Oh, thought one of my orders closed down. Yeah. Sometimes that can be a terrifying sound. Yes. So I'm a little bit upset when it comes to emotions about my unfortunate re-entry. I'm not kicking myself. I only lost out on 12 pips. That's not a huge deal, especially when I'm looking for over 100. So what could be happening now? Well, we had the initial push down, and what if I'm completely opposite? What if I was wrong on the projection and it pushed down instead of pushing up, and now it's gonna, continue up. That's a possible scenario. So I'm gonna see if I can get that statement, that policy statement, um, up. See if I can get any hints into what are the projections for why the interest rate was kept the same. Uh, it's still not there. So if anybody knows where I can actually get that statement, please send it. That'd be great. Okay, so it looks like it's pushing back down. It looks like it was a minimal push. And like I said, the longer that this goes on, the more I'm going to be able to find out if it's going to continue pushing down or up. So how do I know that? Well, looking at the 5-minute chart, I can actually get a couple of some hints into how price is moving. For example, let's say it pushes down, and then it pushes back up, and then it pushes down like this. It does this range kind of thing even on the 5-minute chart. That means that it's struggling to pick a direction, right? But if I see this initial push down and then a push up and then a pull back down, so what we get is wick candles where like for example like this candle that we're looking at right now. If this pushes up and it pulls back down and we get a wick on the candle, that means that the push back up is struggling, and I would see this a good potential for this to push down at this point. So wick candles after a little pullback is what I'm looking for. Uh, Bearish candles as well, but it is going to be a slow trade. All right, so looks like some questions coming in. How are the modification with the EA going? Cool. Yeah. So the modifications are they didn't work out. That's the simple thing to it. So the idea was to let me pull up the chart. I don't have it on there. I don't know where any of my charts are. I'm sorry. Okay. So this was the chart that I'm looking at. And the indicator I wanted to use was this support and resistance pivots indicator. Sorry, there goes my mic again. To help the EA figure out where the swing levels actually are. And what I found out was it didn't help the expert advisor. It would still struggle. Um, it would find the right places in the market, and it was better at that. But other issues would come up. So it's basically like the idea of trading, where you're trading one idea for another idea. So when you make a change, some things could be better, but also some things could be much worse. So this is what I experienced with this change. Was I fixed some issues, but other problems arose. And so the expert advisor wasn't any better than it was before. It actually wasn't as profitable as my original version. And so that's why I have decided to pull back on the changes for now and stick with the idea of cutting my losses at 6% on the account when I hit a 6% loss. Okay, so that's where I am now. I'm still looking for ideas to uh, make changes to my expert advisor and for it to improve it. Uh, but changing the indicator may not be the best idea, at least yet. It needs a little bit more thought. All right, so next, are you still using original Insight Candle RMI EA? Yes, I am. But as I said before, CV, that I'm using it amongst all three of my pairs. So that's the Pound CAD, the Australian CAD, and the Euro Pound. And all of them are working together with each other. And once I hit a profit amount, it doesn't matter if a trade just went in on a pair or not, but once I hit a $200 profit on my personal account, all trades will close out for a net profit. And then I'll start looking for other opportunities. And that's what I've been doing on my account for a long time. And you guys see that yes, I took a big loss recently, right? And that was a 14% loss. But it actually only showed to be a 6% loss originally. Well, 6.5 or well 6.9, and that was it. So hold on, guys. I'm getting a message from my buddy. Okay, just letting him know that everything's okay. Okay. Uh, so I don't even remember what I was talking to you about. Yeah, so the RMI in EA is still very active, and I'm just looking at to potentially making changes to it in the future, hopefully for the better. And this account has did hit a big loss, like I mentioned, but I'm working on making that back very slowly. All right, so the actual counter trend trades, it works very well. From my back testing with my settings, the major trends get my stuck in deep drawdown, playing with settings. Yeah, drawdown can be a problem. That's why I have a cutoff on my trades, and also the big tip that I've given you guys is using my three pairs for one, because they're ranging pairs and they work very well with the RMI indicator. And I use the three pairs to hedge each other. So, for example, let's say that we have 5 trades in on the pound CAD. We have uh, two trades in on the Australian CAD, and the five trades on the pound CAD are actually in $150 profit. Gosh, I can't even write that out. So 150 for the pound CAD with his five trades. And then for two trades on the pound, the Australian CAD, I had $50 profit. All the trades are going to close out because a net total profit of $200 was hit. So that's how I worked the baskets, and it causes me to close out trades a lot sooner than waiting for an entire basket to hit 50 pips total profit. Okay, so tell me somebody's talking about trolling. Wasn't expecting a 100 pip move, so it hasn't happened. Book the profit, close out, then write in journal, close the effing EA next time. I am not really sure exactly what you're asking. Not trolling just sucks. Well, these are the things. These things can happen. We make projections on trades, and sometimes the outcome, well, a lot of the time, the outcome is not what we expect. Actually, what we expect, it's usually quite a bit different. And I'm still expecting this to go down. I'm currently in a drawdown of $390, but I've also came out with a profit because my expert advisor closed out the trade a little early at 395. So right now we're at about break even, if you want to look at it like that. Would a time-based on-off work on the EA or a AFR individual? Are you talking about the ATR? Is what you're talking about? Individual or volatile individual? Yeah, an ATR is possible. It's something that I'm looking into. I already have an expert advisor that trades the ATR already, um, uh, and so I'll have to see if I can work with the RMI on that. Okay, uh, but right now I'm still looking into options. So on Forex Factory, how old are you? I'm actually 32, so you are almost 10 years off. So you're 9 years off. I look like I'm really young, but yeah, 32. I've been trading for 12 years for those that are joining me for the first time today. And I've been a successful trader for the last 3 years. I did just recently get hit with some losses, but before the loss of last Friday, I had 10 profitable months in a row. Um, and So things are going well, but losses are part of the game and they happen. I think it's a dovish statement. Not sure though. Yeah, I agree. That's what I'm hoping for. I still haven't seen it yet. It's something that I'm gonna have to read it later. Um, but we'll just have to wait and see what how people react. Right now, I'm getting a bit of a push back up. We'll see how long that lasts for and how far it extends. Um, I'll be looking for it to extend back to the original entry. If it surpasses it, if it surpasses the original entry, that might be a little bit tricky because once it goes past that, before what the price was before the actual statement came out, um, I would start to think that maybe people might be starting to run somehow positive with this, uh, and I could consider closing out at that point. Okay, be careful with the NZD. Yeah, always careful with the NZD. I don't trade it very often. Do you have a max open trade limit across all three pairs? Yeah, usually with the expert advisor, I'm pretty set with a risk amount of. Let's say I have. So we're talking about 120K right here, right? Right. So for $120,000 account, I'm not going to trade more than half of that. So it would be 0.660. That's the lot size I'm going to be using. So if you're on a $1,000 account, so 1K, and you're trying to figure out what to use, I wouldn't use larger than, well, actually, you can't use this with a 1K account if you're using a 50 to 1 leverage account. If you have a 100 to 1 leverage account at least, and you have 1K, I recommend 0.01 lots. If you have a 2K account and you have 50 to 1 leverage, then I recommend 0.01 lots as well. It depends on your leverage, and that's what I recommend. That's what I'm using on Robert's account here. On all of his trades, as you can see, most of them are at 0.61. That's what the latest trades were closed at. So as I was saying before, guys, I don't want the original place right where the news hit to be broken. I'm hoping that this will hit and then go back down. If it breaks this level and I have a closed candle above it, that might mean that this was more of a hawkish movement and this could extend further. Um, so I'm hoping that doesn't happen. If it does, if I have a close above this level, I may actually close for a loss, a small loss. Uh, I'm sorry, it keeps doing that, but my wife's coming home soon, and I want to make sure that the sound isn't, you're not hearing the whole sound of the house. Um, so as I was saying, if this pushes up, breaks above, I may close for an early loss and move on to the next a next opportunity. Okay. Uh, Look out for 0.725. I'm not too worried about 0.2725. I know that it's like right in this area right here where there's a small previous resistance point. Um, but I'm not 2.5, so you're talking about right in here. I don't really see much in that area. Let me see on the 15-minute time frame to see if I can see any support resistance up there. Yeah, I don't see much at that level, at least from my point of view. I know that everybody has a different way of reading support and resistance, but right now I'm not seeing anything that causes me to really be looking out too much for that area. Do you have any tips on optimization? I've been following Rob Booker. Not sure if you know of him, but his stuff pretty helpful. Let me check to see if I'm gonna just search his name real fast to see if I actually know him. Usually I don't look at people's names. I look at their like pictures, like photo. Let's see. I think I have watched a video of his before, but I don't know him a video or two of his before, but I don't follow him too much, so I wouldn't really know. Optimization. So are you talking about optimization with a strategy or a system or manual trading strategy, or are you talking about optimization with an expert advisor, or both, for that matter? Because I know quite a bit about optimization with expert advisors, although I could know more. I've been working with expert advisors for 3 years and been trading live with them for about 3 years as well. EA. Yeah, there is some optimizations that you can do with expert advisor. I mean, I don't know how extensive that what you're talking about. Um, but if you're talking about like modeling quality and the options in your expert advisor, what you're talking about with that, what to include, what not to include, the optimization tab here. Yeah, there's some things that I've learned. Again, I don't know everything. I've talked a little bit about in my previous videos about how I've optimized my expert advisors, which goes into some detail, but I'm not really extensive on what I've gone over in my previous videos. Oh, so you're talking about the 8 daily EMA. So guys, I don't follow EMAs that often because I don't like them. I think that EMAs are probably the least helpful indicator in trading. Um, because so I'm talking about exponential moving averages. I don't think that they're helpful. Why? Because you don't need a moving average to tell you where the market is moving or already has moved. For example, I bet you there was a cross on multiple EMAs in this push up here. Uh, and if it was a higher EMA, like a 200 EMA, probably was below it. I don't find them very helpful because they don't tell you what's actually happening in the market in real time. They tell you what has happened in the past. And if they try to tell you what's happening in real time, they're always delayed. And so I don't find them to be very helpful or very useful in trading at all. And so I don't have very many strategies that use EMAs because I find it better to just trade what you see with the candlesticks. You don't need something to tell you what's already there. So let me just make sure that I'm not missing out on anything. All right, any more questions? Otherwise, I'm probably going to end this because this is being a slowpoke, and I'm happy to see that the 5-minute chart is showing me a little bit of a failed push back up, and this is probably going to be, if I'm correct with my prediction here, could be a small trickle down. Now let's look at what could change that. So if I'm going to Forex Factory, I'm looking at the news, and you can see that there's no more news today on the NZD and the US dollar. Things that could affect me. The final GDP on the US dollar. Now this could, if this is positive, then yeah, the NZD will extend its losses. If this is also positive, then the NZD will extend its losses. Now if these are negative, then that could give me my trades a potential ride back up, and that will go against me. But I do think that's temporary because the larger picture will show that it's still showing that the US dollar has a lot of strength, and I do feel like that will continue to push the New Zealand dollar down on this pair. Okay. Uh, Trade what you see, uh, not the news. Fundamentals. Okay. Dodgy. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Trade what you see, not the news. But the thing is that there are traders that trade the news all the time, and there are profitable traders that trade the news. And if you trade just what you see, that means that you're strictly a technical trader. I find that a big mistake. You cannot be strictly a technical trader. I mean, a lot of you guys are probably going to disagree with me since there are quite a few of you watching right now. But there has to be some kind of fundamental involvement, whether it's a fundamental or political involvement, whether that's in developing your strategy so it can withstand fundamental and political news announcements, or if it's a strategy that needs those news announcements to actually be profitable. So your strategy needs to incorporate fundamental and political news in some way or form to be profitable. That's in my opinion, and you guys can disagree with it or agree with it. I don't care. You're live. Nice. Yes, I am live today, and this is the biggest amount of people that I've seen come in today for my stream. So let me just make sure that things are still running fine. Okay, so it looks like my stream might have cut out there for a second. Let me just make sure. Okay, so it looks like okay, so it just cut out for a second. Sorry about that, guys. Uh, I would disagree with that technical comment. Actually, I know you're wrong from experience. No offense. That's fine, Curtis. That's fine. You don't have to agree with me. Every trader is allowed to have their own opinion, right? And if somebody disagrees with me, that's fine because that's their opinion, and I'm not going to argue with them unless they like lash out at me and say like uh, you're you're an asshole or what you're saying is uh, completely bogus. It pisses me off. It hurts my feeling. I don't know. But there are ways to that you can piss me off, and it's happened in the past. But if you disagree with me, that's okay. Just don't be a troll about it. Did you see my comments on your most recent videos? I've gotten a lot of comments. I don't remember everybody's names, uh, but I have read most of them, and I try to like them if I agree with what was said. So yeah, words to the wise. It's not opinion, it's fact. But okay. Oh, Curtis, you're a funny guy. Yeah, that's w- there's so what you're arguing is that you don't need to be a uh, you don't need to involve fundamental or political in your trading in order to be successful. I think that a lot of people may disagree with that statement of mine, saying that I think you need some involvement with it. Um, but this is from my 12 years of experience. Maybe I don't have enough, but that's where I stand. Okay, relax, Curtis. Curtis is rational. A lot of people think that you can profit just by uh, just technical trading, and I think that a good portion of profitable trading is technical because how we build our systems in our trading systems and strategies is off of what's previously happened in either the news or in technical. And looks like my wife is just showing up, so you might see her walk in. Uh, Hi, just doing a stream. So yeah, so you guys know my stance on technical, fundamental, and political trading, and so hopefully uh, you agree or disagree. I don't care. 300 pip stops for funny mentals. uh, Invite you to come watch my stream sometime. Maybe I will change your mind. Sure, Curtis, it's fine. Like I said, I'm fine with how you trade. I think that it's very possible that you could be a profitable trader and only trading technical. I've seen it before, but I try to recommend at least to the people that are watching my stream to have some kind of involvement with the political news and the fundamentals news announcements that come out because they do affect trading in potentially a big way, and you can't possibly avoid all of them because sometimes some surprises will come up. And so it's good to, if your strategy doesn't incorporate them, it's good to be aware of them so potentially maybe you can avoid them. Watch out, the wife is home. How's your cat? So yeah, an update for those that watch my stream. My cat is doing much better. I'm not really sure where he is, but I could, if he was around, I would pick him up and show you guys. But he's doing much better today. And oh, here he is. All right. Here's the big fat cat. All right, hi, buddy. Let's see if I can show you. Make sure that the camera. Okay, there's the guy. So he's a big chubby, 22-pound British short hair, and he's real cute. He looks really cute. He's real tired right now too. So, oh man, he's cute. He's a cute, chunky guy. Yeah, he's an amazing little fella. Um, and he's real sleepy, but he's been drugged up a bit today. So I'm gonna put him down. Okay. And so let's talk a little bit more about this trade, and I'll get back into the questions. So far, we're in profit, right? It pushed back down. We got a little bit more of a push down. So this is a good sign. We just barely broke the little swing level here, and it had a slight push up. But this is good. That means that we're having more selling pressure going on right now, and that's what I like to see. Okay, so I'm gonna end this stream no later than about an hour. I don't want this to be too long because it gets hard for people to watch. I know I have a lot of questions coming in. Look good, right? uh, you propose how price will respond to news. Okay. You presuppose how price will respond to news. Yeah, yeah. Simple tone. That's a good point. That's usually a big negative because I got into a trade before the news actually happened, right? And that is considered potentially a very risky endeavor. But I did my research on the actual news statement itself before it even came out to make a prediction of my own on what may or may not happen with the cash rate in New Zealand. And I made an assessment. And if I thought that that assessment, if I didn't have a good chance at profiting from this position or from this trade, then I wouldn't have taken the position. This isn't something that I do every day. These events that I trade only happened every couple of weeks or longer. The last one that I predicted was the FOMC statement back a couple weeks ago. And I wait and choose my battles because if I don't have a very good idea of what's going to happen, I can make mistakes, and I don't want to do that anymore. I made a mistake in the Theresa May speech because I didn't have a good idea what was going to happen there, and my projection was bouncing all over the place. I was thinking I'm going to buy, I'm going to sell, and then 2 hours before the statement, I decided to sell, and it did go initially go in my favor, and then it went against me. It went against me later on, and it was a very difficult situation to call. And so I didn't have a clear mind there. This one, I have a much better uh, plan in place, and so far it's going well. Give your cat and honey was one of my comments. Okay. Oh, yes. Thank you. Give your cat raw honey. Yes, I was considering that, and I haven't done it yet, but I probably will end up doing it. But he is doing much better. He might not need it. Darn the cat. Get the wife back. Yeah, thank you for the comment. I'm sure she'll like that. Uh, how do you know the assessment is not already priced in? Um, the assessment is already priced in. So are you saying that, um, elaborate a little bit on that. How wide was your stop? My stop was a mental stop of about 50 to 100 pips, and the reason why I did a mental stop is because, as you guys know from these statements, things can jump up and down very quickly. And I expected a push up after the statement right when it was released in the first few seconds of a push up, a possible push up, and then a push down. And that didn't happen. That's why I was using a mental stop, just in case the price could knock me out. So that's why I used a mental stop there. And mental stops don't have to be a big negative. I know that when you hear a mental stop, especially for a seasons trader, they're probably thinking, well, that sounds like a dangerous move. And since uh, I feel like I had a good plan with this, and I'm sticking to it. And so far, I haven't had to really change anything yet, and things are still going in my favor. Let's see. So, uh, how wide was your stop? Okay, so I asked that. So 100 pips. I was looking for a 50 to 100 pips stop, and I think I have a 100 pip stop on right now. So that would be $1,000 loss, a $10,000 loss. Sorry, a $5,000 loss on Robert's account, and that would be a $1,000 loss on my account, my personal account. Your trade looks good. Hope it goes in your favor. Uh, get out here and scalp. No, I'm not going to get out yet. I'm still looking for a little bit more. I mean, we're talking about. Guys. I'm only at 6 pips profit right now. Okay, well now 8 pips. So not huge. Okay, so you make a fundamental assessment of what is likely to happen during the release. How do you know that the market does not expect this to happen and therefore prices the event and before the event? Uh, Yes, Armin. This is Arnound. It's actually a very good question, and I actually considered that. So let me pull this back a little bit, and we're almost at an hour here. So if you look at the price how it was all this week, so you can see the opening right here, right? This is where market opened, jumped up, and then it's been going down ever since. I was starting to get a little bit concerned because there was a lot of push that was happening. It means that what Arnound is saying is that the push was already a pre-move for the cash rate is already happening. And when a pre-move is already happening, that means that the move of the actual statement that I traded today could be done, and it could shoot up. And that was a big fear of mine. And so when I saw this happening, I started getting a little bit more, feeling a little bit better about it. And if we look at the price down here at 170, 0.72, where price is about right now, there was a bit of a pullback, and I projected that this would happen as well. I was thinking that this would be a nice place. This happened on Tuesday, for a good place for the market to bounce around and to have a slight push up. And you can see that actually did happen. And when I saw the push up happening, I started feeling a little bit better about my taking the short position here, because there was a small pullback, a good place for the market to continue back down and break the last swing low level. All right, so good question. Thank you for that. Mental stop is okay if you don't freeze. Yes, if you don't freeze. Yeah, I guess that's you can get emotional about it. That's the one of the biggest fears, is having emotional stops. Is if you're not solid emotionally, then things can go against you very, very quickly. But I'm only taking a 5-lot trade here. This is much better risk level. I'm not taking 10 lots like I did before. I'm only taking 1 lot on my personal trading account, as you can see here. Currently at $200 profit, and yeah, so far so good. He should be good. Sellers piling in NZD futures. Okay, good. Thank you for that, UZ. I'm glad to hear that. If they're piling in on the futures, then that means that this could be more could jump in later on throughout the night. Okay, so 15 minutes, the 5 minute, we're still getting a little bit of pullbacks here, but I do expect this to continue down. And I'm not seeing any reason to pull it out yet. Bids are just thick, so price is slipping slow. Yeah, well, we're looking at 15 minutes before a lot of brokers close out, and spreads are going to increase. See this? It says it's only about a 1 pip or 2 pip spread right now. That's going to increase by a lot. Probably 10 to 20 pips at Oanda once that 5 p.m. strikes. All right, so I know that a lot of you guys maybe want to ask more questions, but I'm actually going to end the stream today. I may do more streams in the future. If I see a good event like this, expect that I may do a stream very similar. So if I have, if there's like another FOMC statement coming out, or another big news event, and I have a good prediction on it, I may do another stream. So don't expect these to happen all the time. Maybe every month or two at best. But yeah, these are special kind of events for those to watch and to see what I actually do with my trading. I'll give an update on this tomorrow, so you guys can see how things went. If I closed out my position, if it's in loss, did I take a loss? How much profit did I take, and so on and so forth. Uh, Bids are just okay. So wish they could always be at this time. Really? Okay. You're only in trouble if modified buyers jump in, but no way any of us can see that coming. Exactly. Uh, that is the big trick here, is that we could have an initial push down, and then buyers could jump on later on, seeing that somehow seeing a positive outcome. There was another reason why I actually did this today too, was the election. Um, it was undecided. There was the vote was too close for them to decide on the election, and that's also um, causing a rift with the New Zealand dollar as well. So yeah, have a great day. Great stream. Thanks. Motivated. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I think that's going to be it for today, and I'll come out with an update tomorrow. And wish you guys all the best, and wish me luck on this trade. See what happens. Have a good one. See ya. Bye.